China just released open source models competing with ChatGPT. Robots are learning 10 years of skills in 2 hours. Spotify's entire library leaked, and AI is saving lives. Now doctors' jobs are at risk, and AI just built rocket engines in months, work that usually takes years of research. There's so much happening today, so stick around. Let's start with something that's going to shake up the entire music industry. Spotify's entire music library has been leaked. And we're not talking about a small breach here. Over 300 terabytes of data is now available as torrents, including files in ACC format that you can stream directly without even downloading. This isn't just the songs. The leak includes complete metadata, view counts, play statistics, user engagement data, everything. Now imagine if a company like Alibaba or Google gets their hands on this data and trains an AI model on it. They could potentially create a system that predicts which songs will go viral, what makes music successful, and completely disrupt the entire music creation ecosystem. Some people are saying this is about making music free for everyone, but the real concern here is how this data could be weaponized. Google could use it to make YouTube music dominate Spotify. Chinese companies could leverage it to build revolutionary music AI. We're talking about the potential complete disruption of how music is created, distributed, and consumed. This is honestly way bigger than people realize right now. Speaking of China, they are doing impressive work in the open source AI space right now. Let's talk about Jipu AI's GLM 4.7. Their previous version 4.6 was already solid, but 4.7 is on another level. The interesting part? In many benchmarks, it's actually beating premium closed source models like GPT-4 and Claude Sonnet 4.5. And remember, this is completely open source, meaning you can run it locally on your own system. When you look at the benchmark comparisons, GLM 4.7 is outperforming GPT-4o Mini and competing neck and neck with Claude Sonnet in several categories. For an open source model, that's really impressive. It's also significantly cheaper to run, which makes it accessible to way more developers and companies. Then we have Xiaomi jumping into the game with their MIMO V2 Flash model. This is a mixture of experts model with 309 billion parameters, where 15 billion are active at any given time. It supports a 256K context window, which is massive. What's interesting here is that Xiaomi was previously focused on smaller models for on-device use in phones, but now they're going after the ChatGPT territory with server-side models. This makes sense when you think about their strategy. They're building electric vehicles now, they need AI for their phones, and they want that seamless ecosystem where a local model on your phone communicates with a more powerful server model for complex tasks. And get this, it's competing with Claude Sonnet 4.5, ChatGPT o1, and Gemini Pro in various benchmarks. It's not winning everything, but it's definitely competitive. The best part, the pricing is incredibly low, cheaper even than Grok Fast in terms of efficiency. Now let's talk about something that's going to make companies like 11 Labs really nervous. Qwen just released 2 new voice models that can clone your voice in just 3 seconds. Yes, you heard that right, 3 seconds. They've released 2 models, TTSVD Flash and TTSVC Flash. The first one is really interesting. You basically write a prompt describing the voice you want. Like, I want a male voice that sounds excited and has a deep tone, and it generates that voice. It's like generating images with Midjourney but for voices. You can test this right now on Hugging Face. The second model lets you train your own voice model. Just provide your audio samples and it's done. This is a significant challenge to companies whose entire business model is built on high quality voice generation. The fact that this is open source and can be run locally is a game changer. They're also providing APIs since Alibaba is backing this project, so you can use their servers if you want. But honestly, if you want to experiment, try the Hugging Face demo first. If you want to train your own model, I'd recommend doing it locally. The model is lightweight enough to run on decent hardware. This technology is valuable for content creators, app developers, and game designers who need dynamic voice generation based on themes and scenarios. Qwen isn't stopping at voice, they've also released an image layering model that works like Photoshop but with AI. You upload an image and it automatically separates it into multiple layers. Background, objects, text, everything gets its own layer. The model supports 3 to 8 layers officially. Think about how powerful this is. You can now manipulate individual elements of an image without touching anything else. Want to change the background color? Done. Want to replace a person? Easy. Need to resize an object or remove it completely? No problem. This is going to change image editing workflows significantly. Google just dropped function Gemma, and this is genuinely interesting. This is an on-device model that can actually control your phone, accessing calendars, executing functions, all running locally on your device. Here's how it works. They already had the Gemma language model that can understand what you're saying. Now they've added a function layer on top of it that can actually perform actions within apps. The model only needs 288 megabytes of storage and is trained on 270 million parameters. With 550 megabytes of RAM, it can respond in 3 seconds with 85% accuracy after fine-tuning. Imagine this. You speak a command, Gemini understands it, passes it to this function model which executes the task, then re-evaluates whether it did it correctly. If something went wrong, it tries again. This 85% accuracy can easily reach 95 to 99% with improvements. I'm confident we are going to see full agentic AI control on phones next year. The technology is already here. Google partnered with AI IMS in India to create Indus Derma, an app that identifies skin problems from photos. This is valuable for rural areas without access to specialist doctors. The app is trained on Indian skin types and can detect issues just from a photograph. It's not magic, it's matching your photo against thousands of similar cases in its database to identify the most likely condition. The accuracy is 80 to 90%, which is actually better than non-specialist doctors who typically have around 40% accuracy for skin conditions. This is AI being useful as a backbone for medical professionals, not replacing them. And it's literally saving lives. There was a case on Reddit where someone used Grok and it detected that their appendix was severely inflamed and about to rupture. The AI told them to get a CT scan immediately, which confirmed the diagnosis and likely saved their life. This happened because the AI could analyze their symptoms against millions of similar cases. The healthcare system in many developed countries has serious challenges. Canada's healthcare has well-documented issues, and in many places, if you can't afford top-tier specialists, you're stuck with doctors who might miss critical diagnoses. That's where AI becomes important. It can help general practitioners catch things they might miss. Here's some good news. OpenAI's paid products are finally becoming profitable. Their computing margin was 35% in January 2024, jumped to 52% by the end of 2024, and reached 70% by October 2025. Why? Better cloud hosting partnerships, improved chips, and their models becoming more efficient with less power consumption. They're also developing their own chips, which should improve things even further. If there is an AI bubble, ChatGPT probably won't be caught in it since they're now generating profits. Google isn't going anywhere because they're funding AI from their other products. Meta is using its existing business revenue. OpenAI was at risk because of their massive infrastructure costs, but if they're profitable now, they should be fine. Now let's talk about robotics because this is where things get really interesting. Engineers have designed rocket engines using AI, not humans designing them, but AI creating the designs. They 3D print these engines, run data simulations, test them physically, feed that data back to the AI for training, and iterate. The test footage they released is remarkable. The engine is creating 3500 degrees Celsius internally, but the exterior is so well insulated that frost is forming on the outside. That's exactly what you need for a rocket engine. Then there's Unitree, a Chinese company that just revealed their G1 robot dancing at an event. This thing weighs 35 kilos, stands 130 centimeters tall, has over 23 joints, and costs around $13,500. And it's doing backflips, jumping around, dancing, everything. But here's the really interesting part. Nvidia achieved something significant with robot training. They trained robots with the equivalent of 10 years of experience in just 2 hours using simulations. They put multiple robots in different simulated situations, let them learn independently, and then transferred that knowledge to a single physical robot. If you watch that video, you'll see a robot playing basketball, and it was never explicitly trained for that specific task. It learned from simulation data. This means in the future, we could have household robots that get better through software updates, or we could even purchase new skills for them, like buying a cooking skill package or a cleaning skill package. Samsung just unveiled the Exynos 2600, which will be the first 2nm mobile chip. The improvements are substantial: 39% CPU improvement, 113% improvement in generative AI performance, and 50% better ray tracing. What does this mean practically? AI tasks will run significantly better, gaming will be dramatically improved, and photos will look great. The display can support 4K at 120Hz, camera capability goes up to 320 megapixels, you can record 108 megapixel video at 30 fps, and it supports 8K video encoding and decoding at 30 fps. Samsung is setting a new benchmark here. The question is, will this give Samsung a major advantage in the smartphone market in the coming months? Before we wrap up, I want to circle back to something important. People have this wrong idea that AI is supposed to be some can do everything. AI is trained on data. Once you understand that, you realize AI's true power isn't in being omniscient, it's in unlocking your potential to a significant degree. Take Google's skin detection model. It's trained on Indian skin types. It can map your skin problems by comparing your photo to thousands of similar cases in its database. It's not performing magic, it's doing advanced pattern matching. That's why they say it has 80 to 90% accuracy, which beats the 40% accuracy of non-specialist doctors. The key is understanding what AI can and cannot do. It won't tell you how to make up with your wife. Well, it might give you generic advice, but only you know what actually works with your specific partner. But for data-driven problems, AI can be really transformative if you know how to use it properly. Alright everyone, that wraps up today's Tech News Roundup. We covered China's AI progress with open source models, the massive Spotify leak, breakthrough voice cloning technology, robots that learn in 2 hours what would normally take 10 years, AI saving lives in healthcare, and Samsung's impressive 2 nanometer chip. What are your thoughts on all of this? Drop your comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next one.